Word.
Oh, you see that? See my camera could do all that shit. Yo, check this out. Watch this. Oh yeah, you could do the heart too. See? Yeah. All types of effects for your boy. All types of effects for your boy. We about to be in the building, man. What's going on, y'all? Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, sitting at the table with my boy Christian Gutierrez, man. Amateur boxer right here at Pivot Boxing Academy. We at Pivot Boxing Academy. We about to have a TV show about to be filmed here with John Leguizamo. We got Taki about to make her amateur debut. May 10th here at Pivot Boxing Academy, man. We're gonna let a few of y'all come in here. I know y'all not used to me going live at this time, so if I don't get that many viewers, it's okay because this is not the usual time. But we just gonna have some random boxing talk, man. We just gonna keep it cool. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about a few different things. I forgot what what was it? What the title of the video?
Benavidez moving up. Announced to go up to 175 and random boxing topic.
Okay, so that's exactly what we're gonna do today, man. So we got 3 people in the building, man. Hit the like button as soon as you come in. You know what I mean? 'Cause I know YouTube been real funny style with sending out my notification for some reason, but it is what it is, man. We also got old skills in the building, boxing coach, amateur fighter as well, man. Representing Pivot Boxing Academy. You know what I mean? So, we got some things that we need to talk about. So we're gonna talk about David Benavidez. Hello. Good to see you again. Thank you. David Benavidez just announced on his social media on Instagram that he's making his light heavyweight debut. Um, so that lets me know that he's not really worried about 168 no more. And furthermore, I think he's not necessarily worried about the Canelo Alvarez fight anymore. You feel what I mean? So just give me your thoughts on the whole situation, Chris, and
I feel
what do
as
you think he
though
should do next?
I feel as though it's a good move to move up to 175 because we all know Canelo doesn't want to fight him. There's this whole thing with PBC going on, which I don't know about. But 175, who we got? They got Arthur Beterbiev. They got Bivol. The two big names right now in the 75 division. I feel as though whoever wins that Beterbiev fight and Bivol fight should be should be next for Benavidez. But I think if Bivol fights Benavidez, with that said, Bivol got to fight a perfect 12 rounds. Not even with Benavidez, but with Benavidez also. But I think the harder fight for Benavidez might be Benavidez. That might be the harder fight in my opinion.
I haven't gotten any comments so far. Let me refresh this real quick.
I mean, he's naturally bigger.
Nah, Chris, this ain't pre-recorded. We live right now, man. So we seeing your comments. Look, we just pointing your comment out right now. So we definitely live, and we taking all the live comments as they come in. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for the whole David Benavidez light heavyweight debut. You know what I mean? From what we understand, it seems like he's gonna fight Alexander Volzdik for the WBC final eliminator, and whoever's the winner coming out of that situation will be the mandatory for the winner of Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. So it's an amazing fight. You know what I mean? I think it's a great move for David Benavidez because, in all honesty, since Canelo doesn't seem too enthusiastic about fighting Benavidez, I think it's the next best option for him. And if he were to get every belt at light heavyweight within 2 fights of his light heavyweight career, that's absolutely sensational. What's going on? So I'm actually feeling that.
I think it is good. I think it's also a good international play. You get money from around the world, not just based here in USA. I think I think it's going to be a tough fight with Arthur Beterbiev. I don't know. I mean, maybe the footwork of a ball might be a lot too. You got a lot of stamina.
I think Bivol gonna be easier to fight because they got history sparring.
Yeah.
They got history together.
Okay.
They actually got a sense of who each other are. Like they know each other in a sense. They sparred rounds before. And for what David Benavidez says, he was pretty confident in how the sparring session went. He said besides the straight shots that he threw, there's nothing really much from the one interview that I saw with him. So if they were to actually make this fight happen, David Benavidez might already have like the recipe.
How long ago was that? 'Cause, everybody grows in the sport. constantly.
I mean, that's true. You know, Dimitri Bivol has had some fights since then, and obviously you get better with every fight. But I don't believe it was that long ago. I don't remember exactly what the situation was.
Wasn't it like around 2015, 16 around this?
It could have been. It could have been, but I don't have the time
Yeah,
frame in
that was a
front of
while
me
ago now.
right now. What's
Nah.
going on?
Man, that was tough. To meet you.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your best before situation?
How you doing?
Andrew.
Bud?
Did I meet you last summer on
Yes.
Sunday? Right.
You
Yeah.
met
Yeah.
me. You met me on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. How's everything?
Um, Benavidez,
Well, just the overall situation with Benavidez moving up to 175, which you think is going, and then also what do you think of the possibility of Benavidez fighting the winner of better be?
him move up to, it makes sense for him to move up to the same time because he overall has like a big um Benavidez fighting the retainer. I think that if he fights Bimble's more like I think that would be like really competitive because they both like to fight like a little bit. Bimble like to fight. So I think if that happened, that would go from I would think that round, that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that 175 isn't like the most stacked division, but some of the best fighters in the world are at 175 pounds at the same time. Whether we talking about Archer Beterbiev, he's the only champion of boxing right now with 100% KO ratio, right? Dimitri Bivol, somebody who beat a pound for pound fighter, and Canelo Alvarez went on to beat Gilberto Ramirez, who was undefeated, and then and has defended his title multiple times. He's a pound for pound caliber fighter. So although 175 is the most stacked division in comparison to weight classes like 35, 40, 54, and stuff like that, they still have some of the best champions in the sport of boxing. So David Benavidez, he has, if he makes the right moves and he's able to get these victories, then it's going to be absolutely legendary what he does. Because at 168 for the longest, he was trying to get the best fights possible. You know what I mean? Whether we was at 168, he was trying to fight the Jaime Munguia. That fight fell through. He encouraged the Edgar Berlanga fight. That fight fell through for whatever reason. Since then, he's defeated a top 168 Caleb Plant, then beat one of the boogeymen for a long time in the sport of boxing, Demetrius Andrade. A lot of people didn't want to fight
And
him
he
as well.
destroyed him.
He destroyed him, and he's winning. And exactly, he's winning in impressive fashion. So you could tell that David Benavidez is hungry. You tell that he's really legacy driven. You know what I mean? He's not really too obsessed with the money or anything like that. He doesn't really talk about being a businessman too much. He talks about wanting to be a legend at the end of the day, wanting to do legacy defining things. And I think going up to 175 and possibly facing the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev, and if he were to come out on top, that's sensational. Especially David Benavidez still being a young, hungry,
Yeah,
coming
What
fighter.
is he like?
since Canelo's running away from him, he might as well.
Think, yeah, yeah. But I think Benavidez is like 26, 27 right now.
All right. So I got a question. Ben, let's move on. So, what you think about the fight with Davis and Frank Martin? Right. That's the next thing, and supposedly in spring. How you think that fight's gonna play out?
Well, I think this is the best opponent that Gervonta Davis has faced in a long time. I think that when he first got his world title off of Jose Pedraza, that was a good fight for him. But ever since then, he's been fighting dudes that were notable names and things like that, but nobody to the point where we were thinking that it was actually going to be like a competitive fight or like you would have him as a favorite over Javante. You haven't really had one of those matchups yet. And Frank Martin, he's not the most well-known name, but he's a skilled fighter at the end of the day. He's one of the best 135-pound dudes that isn't a champion in the division. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that fight pans out, man. I think it's a great fight because it's a different style in comparison to what Gervonta Davis has been facing lately. Not the flat-footed, come forward, pressure type of
He one
guy.
of Derek James fighters, right?
Yeah, he's one of Derek James fighters, and he's promoted by Earl Spence. So Frank Martin, he's fast, twitch muscles on the beam, man, good reflexes, pretty responsible with his defense. He brings his hands back real well, just like a traditional Derek James fighter. And he has overall some great boxing ability. And what's impressive about Frank Martin is he started boxing very late in his life, and he's At one point in time, I remember when he fought Jackson Marinas, I heard the commentators talking about he hasn't even been boxing a decade in total yet. So he's pretty much been on the fast track. He's been living up to the hype. And this is a hell of a fight right here. This is a hell of a step up for Frank Martin.
That was supposed to be
No.
Shakur supporting him one time, but the fight
Yeah.
fell through.
Yep. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, man. I
Yeah,
think
I
that
do too.
Gervonta is gonna have some questions to answer going into this fight because, like I said, he's never faced this style. You know what I mean? Heather E, no, this is not pre-recorded. We live right now. They got a TV show. I think NBC has like this TV show being filmed right now over here with John Leguizamo. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what the TV show is called, but he got that going on. Heather E says Benavidez is a big boy. He waited as long as he could for Canelo. That's a fact. You know what I mean? That's definitely a fact. They try to stall him out as long as they could, but Benavidez is not one of the dudes who's gonna sit around and wait for an opportunity. You know what I mean? He wants to stay active. He wants to stay on top of his game, and the only way to really go about that is by continuously getting fights, staying in camp, and performing under the lights, man. So shout out to Benavidez for not stalling his career out for one fighter.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Okay. Since Canelo is running, because he's obviously running. He's been avoiding them for how long? Everybody knows that we want him to watch Benavidez, and it ain't just boxing. Like, everybody who knows anything about boxing wants to watch Benavidez versus Canelo.
I honestly believe, and I don't know how y'all feel about it, but if we're not talking about the fights that's already happened and things like that. We talking about, we got the same shirt on. That's some shit. Wow.
We brothers, we twins.
Yeah. We vibing. Nah, but if we look over all of the fights that could possibly be made in 2024, the biggest fights, the most demanded fights, I think that Canelo and Benavidez is the most demanded fight currently in boxing right now. I know at one point in time it was Crawford and Bud. I mean Crawford and Bud. It was Crawford and Spence. You know what I mean? But they fought. And nobody's really asking for the rematch now because Crawford dominated that fight. So when we talking about the most demanded fight in boxing right now, it's Canelo Benavidez, without a doubt. But it seems like that fight we're gonna have to wave goodbye to because there's only been a couple of times that Canelo Alvarez has went up to light heavyweight, and it was usually for fights that he thought he was capable of winning.
I never even heard of him even considering the contract.
He only fought twice in light heavyweight. He fought
He fought Kovalev
Kovalev and Bibble.
and he fought Bivol, and he's 1-1. You gotta understand, he's 1-1 at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he chose Dimitri Bivol at one point in time because Bivol had a series of like unimpressive performances.
Mhm.
Wasn't that at the point where he was going considering going at cruiserweight? But
Yeah.
then he took Bibble.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
gonna fight Makabu and all these different guys that nobody ever heard of. He was just his confidence was at an all-time high. So like he was really trying to do some historical shit
Hey,
because
the
he wanted to
Mexico meet.
be a five division. He was trying to go after five divisions. He was trying to tie Floyd in that sense. But I think that after he felt the power from them light heavyweight dudes, I think he reconsidered things and started to respect weight classes. You know what I mean? So instead, he's bringing up dudes from smaller weight classes instead of fighting the bigger guys. So, it is what it is.
Um,
Yeah, so,
I'm sorry to go back to the Frank Martin.
yeah, go ahead.
So like,
It's random boxing
I'm,
topic.
I'm watching some highlights of him right now, and he fights almost exactly like Errol Spence. He's a southpaw, and he's pushing his punches. He is not snapping his punches, and that's what lost him the fight against Terrence Crawford. He was not snapping his punches. He was pushing them out, and I'm watching him now, and it's all the punches that I'm watching him do are pushes. And yeah, he's hurting his opponents, but I don't think that's going to work against somebody who has that quick that fast twitch reflex like Javante Davis. I don't even see it going. I don't even see it going the distance.
I mean, well, Javante Davis is a high knockout ratio, so it's not far fetched to believe that he could possibly stop Frank Martin. The one thing that I've noticed, and that's good that you observed that, because he does fight pretty similar to Earl Spence. Maybe it's because they have the same trainers or whatever. The high guard type, catch, keeping his hands up, staying responsible with his with his hands being up and stuff like that, pushing his punches, like you said, that's a good observation. But one thing I did notice in his last fight that Frank Martin had was he's he keeps his guard up real high, but from the opponent that he has faced previously, the dude was successful with landing body shots. You know what I'm saying? He keeps his high guard up. He keeps his high guard up all the way up here, and then he leaves his whole bottom part of his torso open. And with somebody like Gervonta Davis, who's an accurate puncher and goes to the body pretty well, whether we're talking about the Ryan Garcia fight, whether we're talking about the Jesus Cuellar fight, he's a he's really good at placing body shots. So that's something that he can take advantage of as well, facing Frank Martin. You know what I mean? But there's some things that Gervonta Davis has to watch out for himself. You know what I mean? Because nobody's a perfect fighter.
No.
And everybody can be beat in the sport of boxing, especially if you're not prepared on that night how you should be.
I've seen Javante Davis take with all types of stuff.
Hello.
Hey, he's fought several, world class, fighters, and he has been hit. But has he really ever been hurt?
What y'all
Have you
think
ever
about?
seen him really visibly hurt, whether it's to the body or the face? Yeah,
Gervonta?
Javante.
Well, Gervonta, how many punches has Gervonta Davis really faced?
Has Davis ever been hurt in
Well,
his
the
career?
only
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's been hit, but has he been hurt?
I've seen Mario Barrio.
but I
Nah.
feel like the only
It was a hook that Natalie and he laughed.
Say that again?
I said I feel as though the only big touch like Devontae ever had was
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, that was a crazy touch.
Well, he definitely faced adversity with the hand injury and stuff like that. But I think I've seen. I wouldn't say I necessarily seen Gervonta hurt, but I did see him bothered by certain shots. I see Mario Barrios stunning with a shot while he was against the ropes.
Okay.
I see Isaac Cruz land some body shots that you could tell Gervonta wasn't really too fond of. And Rolly Romero had 50 with a shot that he didn't see as well.
What
I
about
think
Santa Cruz? Did he?
Nah, Leo Santa Cruz is never a big puncher.
And
He was successful with like landing shots on Gervonta, but nothing. Gervonta wasn't in trouble at any particular time during that fight.
I mean, that could happen. Yeah, I mean, getting a little stung, but I mean, I really haven't seen him do the stanky leg.
Nah, not
You
at
know
all.
what I mean?
Not at all. He's pretty. Whenever Gervonta gets in that bag, he can be elusive. He's a pretty elusive. He can pull out the defense. He got good head movement. And he can adjust to predictable offense. You know what I mean? I seen Leo Santa Cruz throw like 5 right hands, and on that last one, Gervonta slipped and countered him with an uppercut at the end of the night. So Gervonta Davis, he's a well-rounded fighter. I think a lot of people just talk about his power and things like that, but all around game, defense, you know what I mean, counter punches, setting traps, hand speed, explosiveness. Gervonta has all of that. He has great IQ as well. And he can fight going forward, he can fight going backwards. You know what I mean? So Gervonta is an extremely skilled fighter. And this is gonna be, without a doubt, the toughest test of Frank Martin's career.
When you edit this, put checks next to what we talking about. All right, so check one, Canelo, a chicken. We was talking about that earlier,
I
right?
think.
Canelo, that's the first box, and then we got Benavidez moving up to 175,
I think. I
and
think. Let me see.
and
She talking about the one.
Davis over Martin.
I think. I think Pitbull. If Pitbull, I think Pitbull want to beat Rolly, and he's gonna push. He's gonna try to push that Davis rematch.
Ooh, Pitbull versus Rolly. I like that
I
fight.
think he's gonna push that
I
rematch.
like that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I like that fight.
I'll tell you what though. If Rolly does defeat Rolly, especially if he stops Rolly, the boxer fans are gonna find a way to attach Pitbull's name back to Gervonta Davis. You know what I mean? Because not what makes Isaac Cruz's case so good is, for one, he didn't stop. Gervonta didn't stop him. Gervonta wasn't able to land a clean punch on him. You know what I mean? Couldn't land that kill shot that he usually lands on his opponents. And with them having that common opponent, Rolly Romero, if he was able to stop Rolly the same way that Gervonta did, then there might be some demand for Isaac to run it back with Gervonta Davis.
What's your prediction?
Going into what?
And can go around with predictions for that fight.
For Rolly and
Rolly versus Pitbull.
I think 8 round stoppage TKO. Pitbull gonna stop Rolly.
I like that.
Pitbull gonna stop Rolly. What you think?
Yeah.
Pitbull
But I
stop
think a little earlier than
I think we do unanimous.
I said
I,
eight.
I think you. Hey, you know what? I think it might be like 4 or 5 also.
Yeah,
Because
five.
for real, I think it's gonna be similar.
You just said you just said decision.
Well, no, no, we say unanimous as he's getting.
Oh,
He's
I
gonna
thought you said
he's
unanimous
stopping.
decision.
He's gonna stop. I think he's gonna stop Roly also. I think it's gonna be similar to Hearns versus Hagler. I think it's gonna start fast and it's gonna end fast.
Well, I'll tell you what. And I'm gonna try to think about this as objectively as possible because I know there's a lot of people that come on my channel. You should see the comments that I be getting.
Oh, hey.
That whenever I say that a certain fight is gonna lose, that whoever that person is, I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like you could never win. That's what happens when you're a content creator. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna try to remain as objective as possible. To keep it real with y'all, I can see both guys winning. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Rolly Romero is a big puncher. Pitbull is an aggressive fighter, and he's a big puncher as well.
I think it depends on the ref. The ref.
That could play a part if it's
Don't
if
put
it's an
23
inside
seconds.
game. If there's a point in time where Isaac is really able to get the inside fighting going and Rolly ties him up, then it can depend on the referee. But in terms of like styles, like them actually fighting each other, I can see both of them winning. I can see a situation where Pitbull can get careless, getting aggressive coming in, and Rolly can hit him with a big shot.
Yeah.
However, I feel like I've seen more durability out of Isaac Cruz than Rolly Romero. Ever since Rolly Romero had gotten hurt and knocked out by Gervonta Davis, it seems like he's not as confident in his ability to take a shot that he was before.
I think ever since he jumped up to 140, he's been weird.
Well, I think he only has one fight at 140.
That old head, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let me get into that. So he
Yeah, old head. Shout out to the old head.
so let me tell you this. So he got dropped with a left hook from Gervonta Davis. He wasn't able to recover. Following that, going into that fight with his name is Ismael Barroso, the old head,
Okay.
right?
Is he
So
really
going
old?
into that, yeah, he's 40 years old.
For real?
Yeah, he's 40 years old.
He hit that hard?
He just got the WBA.
He's 173 years old.
So let me tell you. So leading into that camp with Barroso, he had gotten stopped sparring by Jawan Ingram with a left hook. Then going into that Ismael Barroso fight, the old head put Rolly on his ass. We seen that happen. So ever since then, it seems like his punch resistance is not the same, and it seems like he's a sucker for left hooks. And if you know Isaac Cruz, his bread and butter is that left hook. He punches hard with both hands. Let's not get wrong, but his left hook is nothing to be played with. And even though Isaac Cruz is a small guy at 135, he's a pretty solid dude overall.
Yeah, no, he's
I think that he's gonna feel a lot better, a lot stronger at 140 pounds. And although Rolly has a great gas tank, Pitbull has a great gas tank as
doing
well.
15 rounds. I see
Yeah,
that.
he does. He has a great gas tank as well. So I think that this stylistically speaking, I think that this plays more in Isaac Cruz's favor more than Rolly Romero. I think that Isaac Cruz could stop Rolly.
Back to the ref. Whoever the ref is, don't be letting Rolly push after the punching.
Don't let
punch after the
Tony Weeks.
pushing. You know what I'm saying? And that jousting. He be jousting, throwing his hands out there. That, you know what I mean? All that's dirty. You know what I mean?
Talking about that fight, also that same night is Zoo versus Thurman. How bad of an ass whooping Thurman's gonna get?
Well, you should ask who you think is gonna win, but I think it's pretty clear you think that Tim Tszyu gonna watch Keith Thurman.
I think
All right, let's bring it around here because Poppy's not talking much right now. So I want to ask you. You watch boxing. I be seeing you all over, like in everybody thinks you real too. You a boxing enthusiast, so I'm gonna ask you. Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu. What's your thoughts on that overall fight? Is it a good fight? Is it not a good fight? And who do you have as the winner going into that?
What was the other guy's name?
Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman.
I never watched him.
Oh, you never watched Tim Tszyu? Okay. Nah, that's a little bit before her era. Cosby Zoo. Yeah, Cosby Zoo is the man at 140 and 120. Before Zed Jeter.
Who you got?
Who?
Well, look.
No, she talked. No, he asked if she knew Cosby Zoo. Oh, Cosby. Yeah, Cosby Zoo was before her era. That was before my era too, but I know who he is. Yeah.
First of all, we talk about don't duck me, son. Don't duck me, son. I don't know, man. If he still got some dog in him, I see it can still go anyway. I mean, and yeah, he's old, but still, he was very fast, very powerful. You know what I'm saying? And he feels as though he's not done yet. So it's all about how much dog Keith Thurman still got left in.
Was Keith
I
Thurman?
think it's more the inactivity that his age.
Was his
Yeah,
performance against Mario
yeah.
Borges any good? I didn't see that fight.
Well, he actually got he with a body shot. I mean, he got hurt with a body shot, but overall he dominated Mario Barrios. So it was a pretty good it was a pretty good performance, honestly. You know what I mean? But if we really talking like we keeping it a buck, Keith Thurman get hurt every fight he in. Every time he get hit clean to the body, he ready to fold up. But there's something about him that he just know how to survive. You know what I mean? Which is a good attribute to have. If you know how to survive, then you know what I mean. You just know how to get through a fight, and that can really play to your benefit, especially in the later rounds. Um, Thinking about the fight between Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, I think it all solely depends on how Keith Thurman is coming into the fight. He is he's the person that we really got to focus on more because he's the one who has the uphill battle. I understand he's the more experienced dude, former unified welterweight champion. He has the better resume. He's more experienced overall than Tim Tszyu, but he's coming off of I don't know how long. I don't know how long of a layoff Keith Thurman
Well,
took.
wasn't that like a year?
Years?
A year?
Mario Barrios was the last person to fall, right?
Yeah. But just overall, I think I saw the statistic that he only fought like 3 times in like 7 years or some shit like that, which is like absolutely insane. You feel me? So he's extremely inactive. Even besides the Mario Barrios fight, like as a whole, he hasn't really been doing much in boxing. He's been doing a lot of sitting around. Meanwhile, we got dudes like Tim Tszyu who are staying active and are taking chances.
And he's like a big welterweight. It's
Super,
good. Super
this is
welterweight.
154. Well, they actually fighting.
154.
They fighting at a catchweight at 155 because they didn't approve Keith Thurman for the WBO title.
Okay.
So they made him fight at a catchweight, but it's not for a belt.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, it's an uphill
Zeus
battle.
big. He looks big, bro.
Yo, he's a big dude. He's a big. He said he's going up to 160 soon.
Yeah.
Unless you know that he's not making 54 comfortable.
So wait,
It's different. He can
wasn't
just lay weight on.
wasn't going to be something where if Shinzu, I read this, somewhere. I could be wrong. Ain't supposed to be Crawford. Whoever wins that fight, Crawford's going to be like the mandatory for Duke or something like that.
Well, the WBO president said that he sat down and he spoke with Terrence Crawford, and he said that Terrence Crawford has the opportunity to make himself the WBO super champion. When you're the WBO super champion and you move up in weight, you automatically become the mandatory for that WBO title.
For any weight class or
If you're moving up or moving down, whatever division you decide to move up in, if you elevate to the WBO super champion and you move up and you move up and you request to be that mandatory, they're gonna give that to you. And that champion has to fight you next. That's usually how it goes.
is he going to take?
So we don't know. You have to sit back and wait. It seems like Terrence Crawford and his team are pretty interested in the fight, but I haven't heard anything about him. You know what I mean? Activating that whole WBO super champion status. But looking at the whole fight, to go back to the Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu fight, I think that it all depends on Keith Thurman. His inactivity, his age plays a part. He's been very injury prone throughout his career. And from what I understand, I don't think he's ever been at 154 pounds in his career. He's been a career long welterweight. You're going up against a big 54 and
He
Tim
got
Tszyu.
good body
And
shots.
Tim Tszyu is extremely confident in his abilities because he just came off of beating Brian Mendoza, who just watched Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? And he's an extremely aggressive fighter.
Yeah.
And although he's inexperienced, he's a dog, man. He's coming to fight.
His body
And-
shots are really crazy.
And he does, and that's actually a great point. He actually goes to the body pretty well. We all know that that's Keith Thurman's kryptonite. He's been getting folded by smaller guys like Manny Pacquiao, Luis Collazo, and things like that. How is he going to hold up to a full-fledged 154-pound fighter in Tim Tszyu getting hit to the body?
He's gonna have to get on his bicycle and use his speed.
That's what we're going to have to rely on. But however, how do we know that the inactivity did not take away Keith Thurman's legs?
Yeah, no, I mean,
These are things that we really got to take into consideration. That's why I think it's an uphill battle for Keith Thurman.
absolutely.
If we being as objective as possible, is Keith Thurman capable of being Tim Tszyu? Yes, he got outskill him. He can outclass Tim Tszyu because he's the more experienced fighter. He has the better ring IQ, in my opinion. He's the smarter fighter overall. But when you're going against the things that Keith Thurman is going through in terms of the weight move up, the inactivity, overall ring rust, and then you're going in there with an active Tim Tszyu who's bigger, stronger, you know what I mean, is extremely aggressive. I don't know if that ring intelligence is gonna be the
Oh
reason
yeah, he
why
rough
he
and
comes out
tough. He rough,
on
bro.
top.
He just slammed the ball.
You know what I mean? So
Do you
uh,
feel Zoo would be a good
look, somebody by the name of Jo says Zoo beat Harrison, Ocampo, Mendoza all in 2023. Very active. So that could be a reason why he wins this fight.
you think Zoo and Charlo would be a
But
good
at the
fight?
same time, Tony Harrison wasn't himself. Carlos Ocampo, we don't know him for much besides getting stopped by Earl Spence in one round. And Brian Mendoza, I'll give him that because he beat Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? But neither one of them dudes are Keith Thurman. So if we keeping it a buck, like okay, he's been active and he's been beating some solid dudes, but neither one of them have accomplished what Keith Thurman has accomplished or have the resume that Keith Thurman has. So I think it's a good fight. Is it a pay-per-view worthy fight? I don't think so. But it's a fight that I'm gonna watch nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? So it's a solid fight. I would like to see how Keith Thurman rises to the occasion.
Uh,
So, have you heard about the rumors of Danny Garcia versus Conor
Danny Garcia, Conor Ben, yes. Yes, I have.
about that?
Let me let you go first. Go
Danny gonna get ice. Danny gonna get ice.
ahead.
Why do you
Enough said. Enough said.
Why you think that? Why you think that?
Listen,
I disagree with you. But go ahead.
listen. We don't know how we'll feel about England fighters, but from what I've seen, I feel if Conor Ben,
Get
if,
your water.
No,
if Conor Ben is himself and like that knockout artist that he should be, I think he would be a rough fight for Dan. Could be a rough fight.
Let's look at it like this. You know what? I'm gonna say my. I'm gonna say
I
my.
don't know much about Ben, but I feel like he will be a
You
hard
don't know
fight.
much about Ben. You
I,
think he gonna beat Danny?
I
I
think
had seen some of his stuff. I had seen some of his training, and he's definitely a workhorse, which could definitely create a problem for Danny. And Danny, another fighter who is inactive. He does not fight very often.
when's the last
But
time
I'll
he fought?
tell you what, even with the fights that he has lost by decision, because he's never been knocked out. Right? He's only lost by decision, and he's never decisively like been had his ass whooped. He's gotten beaten, but he hasn't been demolished. You know what I mean?
He always loses big fights though.
But he hasn't got
Kind of been a big fight then.
he
That's
He's not. He's not.
yeah.
He's
yeah,
not Porter,
you're absolutely right.
but
He's a harder worker and he's bigger too.
or Thurman.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, Dottie, what you think? You the one who brought up the topic.
I think okay. I think that Danny will win only because taking consideration he has been inactive for a long time, and Conor Ben, like I haven't watched a full fight of Conor Ben's, but I've seen highlights and I've seen how he trains. Um, he does look like he's a big knockout, but he seems like he like what I see is that he can be beatable. And Danny is a very like well-rounded fighter. I think he's not good in like one area. He's like he has a little bit of everything. Um, but I think if Danny has like a full camp and to train hard for this fight, I think he could be able to win.
That's a good take. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. Um, just looking over Conor Bennett, what he has had going on. Obviously, we know that he tested positive for a performance enhancement drug,
Eggs.
and since then, he said it came from eggs.
I doubt
You
it.
know what I mean? I don't think Conor Ben said that, but there was somebody who said that eggs played a part or whatever. But regardless, he tested positive for a performance enhancement drug, right? So since then, we haven't really seen the power. We haven't really seen the big knockouts since he's tested positive for that. Now that could be a coincidence, but I'm not somebody who's too big on coincidences. You feel me? So going into this fight with Danny Garcia, I think it's a great fight. I think it's a good fight. I think that this is a good opportunity for both guys. Danny Garcia has been inactive. Let's not get it wrong. He hasn't fought since Jose Benavidez, and I think that's been a year and some change,
That was a good
probably
performance.
closer to 2 years. And he let his hands go. He showcased some good boxing ability. And Jose Benavidez was game the entire time. I think that although Conor Ben, he has some good speed, he has some good overall boxing ability and stuff like that. Good work rate. I think that he's never faced anybody on Danny Garcia's level. You feel me? I think that Danny Garcia has been in there with guys similar to kind of done. He's been up against big punchers like Keith Thurman, Earl. He's been in there with Lucas Mukise. This is a decorated seasoned pro. And I think that Danny Garcia hasn't accumulated much damage in his career. So although he has ring rust, he's inactive. This is still somebody who doesn't have much mileage on him. And I think that Danny Garcia can really pull out the W against Conor Benn. I think that he could actually outbox him. I think he could. I think that he could make Conor Benn pay for his mistakes. And to keep it real with you, if we just keeping it a buck, man, like we've seen Conor Benn struggle against guys who are nowhere near the level of Danny Garcia. Pete Dobson. Pete Dobson was extremely slow, wasn't even that active. He had several moments in that fight. He made it competitive the entire time. Did Conor Benn win convincingly? Yes, he outworked him. But Conor Benn was having some trouble dealing with Pete Dobson. And I'm sorry to break it to Pete Dobson fans and stuff like that, but Pete Dobson is not a Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that Conor Benn is game. You know, is it possible that he could beat Danny? Absolutely. But I think that Danny Garcia is the superior fighter all around. And I think that stylistically, I think that Danny could hurt that dude, man. Danny Garcia is a heavy puncher as well, and
Yes, he is.
I have not seen Conor Benn in there with a world class puncher yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely going to be a test for him. And there's a lot of question marks around Conor Benn's name. Besides the PED allegations, he's unproven. He's unproven. So I like the fight. Hopefully Danny can put that together and we can get a great fight. You know what I mean? Here in the United States, because as far as I'm concerned, Conor Benn can't fight in the UK right now.
And Danny's
Wasn't Conor Benn's last fight in Florida?
Is that I think one of his fights was in Florida, and I don't know where his last fight was. I know the fight that he had with that 154 dude was in Florida, but I don't remember where the last fight was at. But regardless, I think it was in the U.S. because um, the British Boxing Board of Control still hasn't given. They still haven't given Conor Benn the clear to fight in the UK because of the 5-year drug test. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, the last. Thank you, Jo. He says last fight was in Vegas. Okay, cool. So his last fight was in Vegas. The fight prior to that was in Florida. So he's been fighting in the U.S. lately. So why not? Why not Danny Garcia and Conor Benn next? I love the fight. I think that it could be a good one.
His own. What's the smart route they should do with Edgar Moringa? Should they do Jamie McGear, or Canelo first?
So the question is, Juan just asked over here, what's the smart route to approach with Edgar Berlanga?
Yeah.
Who should Edgar Berlanga face first?
Yeah.
Well, Munguia or Canelo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know how y'all feel. I think he asked out either way. I don't think he could beat either one of them dudes. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now, who can he most likely beat more than the other? I think that the more beatable guy is Jaime Munguia because he lacks defense, and that could open up some opportunities for Berlanga to crack it. But overall, he's not supposed to be here, is he? Is he supposed to be here?
Oh,
It's a 4:30 drawn on that,
on 4:30. The kids won't come.
but it's 2:30.
All right, whatever.
I think he's working out. I think he needs to know.
He needs to know that there's no training here today. But I think that he's asked out either way. The most beatable opponent for Berlanga to face is Munguia because Munguia, offensively, he's sharp, but on the defensive end, he gets hit a lot, man. He gets hit a lot, and he's really lacking in that department. And Berlanga being a big puncher, he might be able to do something. He might be able to hurt him. Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, way too experienced. Offense, great. He could get in his elusive bag whenever he wants to. I just think that Berlanga is asked out either way he goes. In all honesty, I want to see Edgar Berlanga fight Diego Pacheco. That's what I want to see. I'm not one of the people, and I've been calling that for my channel for a while now, but a lot of people aren't really calling for it because Diego Pacheco is not that big of a name. Like, we know about him, but he's not as popular as a Berlanga, Canelo, or Jaime Munguia. But I think that Diego Pacheco is a phenomenal fighter. I think he's extremely underrated. And being that Diego Pacheco is at Matchroom and Edgar Berlanga is at Matchroom, it shouldn't be hard to make at all. Edgar Berlanga got his eyes set on Canelo Alvarez, but does he really deserve a fight with Canelo Alvarez in comparison to guys like David Benavidez, who just had to move up, and Jaime Munguia? Jaime Munguia hasn't really faced anybody, but I think that he's beat the more notable names than Berlanga. That's me personally. So I think that in terms of who deserves to fight more, I think that Edgar Berlanga is dead last. I think that he has. I think he needs to prove more before we really get out here and say that he deserves a Canelo fight. PR versus Mexico, bro. We talking about a Mexican great in Canelo Alvarez in comparison to Edgar Berlanga, who's only popular in New York and hasn't really proved anything to be a Puerto Rican great.
I think the thing that messed him up is that knockout spree he had.
Of course that's what it was. Those first round knockouts, all the knockouts he didn't learn anything. They didn't provide any type of obstacles. He didn't have to adapt. He just hit them and they fell down. So he never grew as a fighter as a result. You know what I mean? And I said this on my channel. It's like when you playing 2K on beginner mode or easy mode, when you beating guys by 30, 40 points, it's like, all right, it feels good that you winning and stuff like that. You might feel like you the shit. But when you step up a little bit and you got the difficulty on hard or Hall of Fame, all of a sudden the bucket's not as easy to get anymore. All of a sudden you losing games. You're not undefeated anymore. So I don't know, man. I feel like he didn't learn anything, and as a result, I think that for the amount of fights that he's had, he's really underdeveloped in comparison to what he should be. But it is what it is.
I got personal feelings.
It's like Deontay Wilder. Same thing. Bunch of first round
But to be
knockouts.
fair, that's a fact. But to be fair though, Deontay Wilder actually beat somebody of quality like Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
Berlanga hasn't beaten anybody of quality yet. You feel me? So and he had 10 title defenses, actually became world champion. Berlanga hasn't done any of that. He hasn't even touched the world title yet. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's a good point.
How do you rate his performance?
Yeah.
We talked about the receiver thing.
Oh,
What is that? Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like, who do y'all think will win?
Oh, so you think it's not going to be a distance? You talking about?
Yes.
You was talking about
You're
this.
talking about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Yeah, I guess we a little bit later.
I'm asking you, like, what do you think? Do you think it'll go all-time rounds? Do you think it'll go a certain round?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
They
It depends on who wins. I think it depends on who wins. I find it very hard to believe that Ryan Garcia will beat Devin Haney by unanimous decision. I don't think that's gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen.
Like the only
If
chance
Ryan were to beat Devin Haney, it will be by a stoppage or a knockout. That's what I personally believe. If it goes to the decision, I'm very confident from what I've seen that Devin Haney will be the one coming out victorious. But I also could see Devin Haney defeating some weird shit. I could see Devin Haney dropping or stopping Ryan Garcia too, because Ryan Garcia does have quit in him. A lot of people don't want to really talk about that, but he has quit in him. So it may be possible that he could accumulate some damage and possibly stop him.
I say it all the time with you that I think he don't believe in himself. That he be trying to hype himself up. He don't really believe himself, but he be trying to talk it into fruition. You know what I
I
mean?
just think for Devin, I think it's a little different situation between Devin. Because I feel like they grew up with each other and they've been with each other since they know each other since they were kids.
So you got winning.
I think I got my belief. I think Devin will outbox him, but I think Ryan can get in Devin Haney's head to the point he'll put Devin Haney in front and can put Devin.
He never hated the biggest fan too.
I do.
I don't like Devin.
I know.
I hate Devin.
No, I do.
He said, "I hate Devin."
No, I really hate Devin.
It could also be very competitive because knowing that they fought
It-
6 times in the amateurs and they 3-3.
That's a fact, and they've been using that to build up this whole fight. However, they were 16, 17.
That is true.
And they fought. And I think what the fuck? I think those first 3 fights when they were a lot younger, like 12, 13 years old. They said the later 3 fights when they were around 16, 17. Do we hold them amateur shows that high? I mean, those amateur bouts, do we really value them that much?
No, how old are they now? They both like
They
20.
grown ass men,
Yeah.
25, 26 years
Yeah,
old.
they're like in the prime of their
But you
life.
gotta keep it consistent all
It's
the way
a
around.
completely different thing.
You gotta keep it consistent all the way around. The reason why what I mean by that is they had the same conversation between Keyshawn Davis and what's his name, Cruz, Andy Cruz.
But this was recent though. They fought in the Olympics.
Yeah, they fought recent in the amateurs. So it
They
depends.
fought recently
they
in
was
the
older.
amateurs, but Devin
But they
Haney
were
and
older.
Ryan fought each other when they were kids.
Yeah, there's a big difference between when you were a kid and when you're a
Devin said they fought when they were
Especially
older.
the past. When you
Yeah, but Devin's been a pro for like I don't know how long.
Since 16,
Like
right?
almost a
What?
decade.
Well, he went to he went to Mexico, right?
Yeah, he's been pro forever.
He been in pro what, since 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 16 years old. He's
And
like
Mexico
25,
turned
26 now. So, do we really hold that amateur record that high if they're already decorated pros?
I feel that amateur record don't mean nothing. It's
I mean, you gotta take into consideration, like y'all know, y'all amateur boxers. You were a former amateur fighter. You a pro now. It's only 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So, like, they fought each other 6 times, 3 rounds. That's 18 rounds. You know what I mean? Like, and there were significant time differences between those bouts, man. I'm not really holding that high.
Yeah, no.
I'm not
They
counting them either.
they heavier. They might know a little tricks from each other. They'll know little tricks, but they learn new tricks now. And not only that, they are 140 now. I think it's gonna be. I don't know.
The thing is with
Might not
them,
go all the way.
the difference between them is they always been around each other. Even when
They were always rivals.
yeah, and they were always they never. It's not like we fought and we fought. We went about your way and I went about my way. No, you were still training at Floyd Mayweather's gym, and I was coming through there sparring Rolly and shit. I was seeing you spar, and so we still was around no matter what. So I do know shit that you don't know. And Floyd showed him a clip of him getting clipped by Tank. So he knows something.
Okay, let's address this real quick. So Ryan is going around saying that Floyd Mayweather showed him a clip of Tate clipping Devin and sparring, right?
It's
What
different.
the fuck does that mean? Can you replicate what Gervonta Davis does?
No.
Absolutely not. You're not that kind of fighter.
And
You're
not a
not.
southpaw.
You're not a southpaw, and you're not as savvy in the ring as Gervonta Davis. So I can show you some shit that Muhammad Ali was doing in his prime. You know what I mean? The shuffle and all that. Does that mean that you could duplicate that?
No.
We already
And
seen
you
it
might
work.
be able to, but what's the likelihood that you can? It's slim to none, especially when you're a Ryan Garcia type fighter who's extremely limited in the skill set department.
I feel
I don't hold
just
it.
because you give somebody the recipe doesn't mean
They can
do
accomplish
the
it.
same thing the exact same way.
I think the
I
only
think it's all my
person.
game.
You could give two chefs the same fucking recipes, and they can taste completely different. Just because you have the recipe in front of you, you can have a whole step-by-step manual booklet on how to uh, solve a problem, and you can still come up short. It is what it is. You have what it takes to execute that. Some people do, some people don't. I think Ryan Garcia can duplicate what Gervonta
The
Davis
only
did.
person to clip Haney was Jorge Lenardis, right?
Yeah, and he got through it. But we seen Gervonta, we seen Ryan quit off a body shot. So everybody keep talking about how Ryan Garcia got so much more dog than Devin. I don't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Because I've never seen Devin quit.
I've never seen
Even when they said he got rocked by Gervonta Davis in that
kept
sparring
going.
session, I heard they kept going and then he outlasted Gervonta. They said Gervonta got out the ring. So like, I don't know. I seen Rolly Romero beat up on Ryan sparring. I don't know, bro.
So
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole bunch of he said, she said. Niggas just need a fight, and that's it. Niggas just need a fight, and that's it.
One is the difference I see with this is the way
who got beat, Bud? And
Ryan. I feel like
the
Ryan is under his skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point right here to talk about the whole amateur stuff. J.O. says Sean Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. Ugas beat Bud. Pros are different. It's a fact.
No, that's facts.
It's a fact. It's a fact. And when you watch
Who
Ryan
beat
Garcia,
Bud? Who beat Bud?
Ugas,
Ugas, okay.
And Ugas was going around. Ray Robinson beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs. Real shit.
Wait,
Ray,
what? What? Wait.
no, Ray Robinson, the dude that used to train with Bozier.
Okay, all right.
When that fought Ugas, they got stopped. He got stopped by Ugas. He beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs.
Okay.
Um, who else? I think Danny beat.
You fucked my head up.
Because he's trash.
Danny.
I think Danny Garcia beat Bud in the amateurs. I know they fought for sure.
Yo, how would a Danny Garcia and Boots fight would look?
Next question.
I got a question for you, right? Sabril, was it a smart decision for Sabril?
John is outside talking to her.
I think it was an amazing decision. I think that was a great move.
You think the money is gonna be there for him to get these big fights that he deserves?
Of course it is. Yo, listen.
Progress.
Nah, he want body bag progress, man.
No, they
I'ma
might
tell
make
you-
that fight though.
Yeah, it's realistic. But Juan asked if Superell going to Matchroom was a good or bad idea. I think it's an amazing idea. Simply because a lot of the smoke that's at 140, Matchroom has. Whether we talking about the relationship that Devin Haney got with Eddie Hearn, Richardson Hitchens, Regis Prograis is available. They got Liam Paro. They said Superell should be fighting him next. I'm sure there's more. It needs to be plugged into it. There has to be like an auxiliary cord. It's not wireless. Man. No, we don't have a wireless. If you're able to find the plug, we can plug it into that machine, and then we can get it. But I don't know where the cord is. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. But regardless,
Superell.
oh yeah, yo, I think I named just about some of the top guys in the division, bro. So Superell could definitely make a lot of money at 140 pounds. And the long term goal should be Superell and Devin Haney. You feel me? But that's the live for the day, man. We just had the man welcome to the building. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, man. I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful day. We gonna continue doing lives like this, man. This is pretty dope, man. But until then,
I'm gonna show you.
get up out of here. Y'all have a great day. Peace.